Have you ever read a Bible story as a kid and thought, "Thank God that's not me"? As I grew older, I realized most of those stories aren't just history. They're a roadmap of my own heart. Like the Garden of Eden. Have you ever made a choice you wish you could erase? One yes that you wish you could take back. One step that led you into a place you never imagined. In our small town in Ohio, the kind of place where Friday night football was the heartbeat of the community and church bells still rang on Sunday mornings, there lived a couple, Daniel and Miriam. Daniel had been the star quarterback, the kind every college scout kept an eye on. His arm was strong, his future even stronger. Miriam was his high school sweetheart, bright, compassionate, with a voice that could silence a room when she sang in the church choir. Together, they looked untouchable, the kind of couple everyone thought would make it. But like Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden, the fall didn't come with a warning sign. It came with just one look, just one touch, just one taste, and just one choice. But like Adam and Eve in the garden, their world changed with that one decision. What began as harmless fun at parties soon changed them to bottles, powders, and needles, little by little. Their Eden was slipping away. At first, it was just an entreat. Someone passed Daniel a pill, promising it would help him relax before the big game. For Miriam, it started with a drink to ease the weight of her parents' divorce. Small, quiet compromises, just a taste. But Genesis 3-6 reminds us, when the woman saw that the fruit was pleasing to the eye and desirable, she took it. Soon the fruit took them. Daniel lost his scholarship after missing too many practices. Miriam stopped singing in church when she couldn't stand to look anyone in the eye. Their laughter was replaced with fights, their love with shame. They covered their brokenness the way Adam and Eve covered themselves with fig leaves through lies, excuses, and silence. One winter night, Miriam overdosed in the parking lot of a Walmart. Daniel, shaking, held her as snowflakes fell onto her still body. He whispered, "God, if you're real, don't let her die." In that moment, he realized Eden was gone. He couldn't fix it. A stranger called 911 and stayed with them until help came. That stranger, a nurse named Evelyn, visited Miriam in the hospital later. She didn't just offer care, she offered scripture. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit, Psalm 30:2-18. For the first time in years, Daniel and Miriam felt seen not as addicts, not as failures, but as souls God still wanted. They entered rehab together, shaky but determined. Relapses came like storms. But grace came stronger. Months later, Miriam stood in a small church, her voice trembling as she sang Amazing Grace. Daniel sat in the front row, clutching his worn Bible like a lifeline. They were scarred, yes, but not forsaken. The past was a heavy cloak, but it no longer defined them. Miriam found work as a waitress, and Daniel, now clean and sober, threw himself into helping others stay off the streets. One evening, they sat in their small home, its walls filled with photos of them as kids, as a couple, as volunteers at a soup kitchen, their smiles genuine, their eyes reflecting not just hope, but a newfound peace. They had lost their Eden, yes, but they found something stronger, a love that didn't waver with circumstances, a faith that didn't falter in the face of addiction. A joy that was born not out of circumstance, but out of the depths of their despair. See, their story isn't just about loss, it's about restoration. It's about the quiet strength of two people who dared to choose each other and God, day after day, after day. Have you ever felt like your mistakes have piled up so high that God couldn't possibly forgive you, that your past, like a relentless wind, is blowing you farther and farther away from the life you once dreamed of? Know this, friend, God's love isn't bound by the size of our mistakes or the length of our stumbles. It's anchored by His steadfast faithfulness. Just as He reached out to Adam and Eve after their fall. He reaches out to us in our moments of what ifs and I wish. He doesn't dwell on our past any more than we should. For it's not in our past, but in our present choice, our next step, our next breath, our next prayer, that God desires to walk with us. Your past may feel like exile, but the cross is a new garden where mercy grows in the quiet of your strength. May you remember this, friend, you are not your mistakes. You are not your past, you are loved, and this love story, it's not over, it's just begun. Shalom.